if you could introduce yourself. If you want to direct your question to digital side, physical side, just kind of give us a little bit of a premise where the question's coming from.
Sounds good. All right. Hi, my name is RJ Orr. I'm from Phoenix, Arizona. My question is, explain, in the two new light papers for BEV and for BLOX, it had talked about licenses being held by the Treasury. What is that, and explain how that all works?
So guys, understand when we mine everything. When you go on exchanges, what do you need?
Token.
Token. So those tokens basically provide the liquidity to all the exchanges, all of the swaps, all of the mechanisms, and running through. It also provides the income streams that we need to down the road to continue growing out our ecosystem, because this thing has to last decades. So it's never going to be sold on the open market. Typically, Treasury tokens have actually never been touched today yet. But next 2, 3, 4 years, as we continue to grow, it's going to have to be accessed. So that's what they're for.
Thank you. My name is Nick Wozniak from Sacramento, California. And my question is, a lot of blockchain experts talk about the utility of cryptocurrency coins. So what is the utility of these tokens, say, 5 years from now? Why would somebody want to buy a coin to, say, a member of the public at that point?
Okay, we're now going to call this Ask Jason Anything. So, so the utility of the token as it goes through, these are currency tokens. So what you're actually going to find here very shortly is vendor use. Grow is actually the first towards that. Can you hear me?
Yeah, I think they can hear you. You just can't hear yourself.
Okay.
Now.
So we actually have vendors coming online in the next 30 days or less, since you guys are here in a private setting. Grow token is actually being used for its first cryptocurrency exchange for real assets or real products. That will go directly on websites for both IX and debt, and I think the utility will start showing very clearly. Even in the swaps of a lot of the agricultural stuff that's happening currently right now in Ghana, what we were working on is getting wallet tech out to enough individuals and the artisan miners to do full payment, transmission, and running, because the Grow token has upward projection, and right now the internal CD, or the local currency, is actually going down. They'd prefer to actually be paid in a different currency.
What's the ETA on a layer 1 blockchain?
On what? Sorry?
The layer 1 blockchain.
Layer 1 blockchain.
Yeah.
Layer 1 blockchain. I can answer that if you want. I'm just kidding. I'm just kidding.
Wow. So our own native blockchain is actually something that takes a lot more in depth to launch, okay? So over the next 2 years, we believe we'll actually be fully integrated with a similar blockchain to what currently right now we're on is the Binance Smart Chain. We need to basically have that growth pattern. We need to have the nodes operating on the ecosystem long enough to give us the data points in order to basically build it out. Our dev team is growing. Actually, it'll be over double this year. And the project is actually starting, but it's a whole lot of different mechanisms it takes to actually do your own blockchain instead of just a token or a project per se. So this is basically phase 1 to get our own projects on. Then it's going to be the debt chain, and then it'll be third-party products going on the debt chain similar to Binance Smart Chain.
Jeff Trills. All right. It's a two-part question. First part is, when will we be able to borrow against our token? And will we be able to use Bitcoin or inside of the debit card? We'll be able to swap out different coins inside of the debit card? That's a two-part question.
So the accounts that we're setting up through RBS will be a multiple chain wallet, and so you will be able to use Bitcoin and everything. Now, when it comes to lending on the cryptocurrency, that's something that's somewhat out of our control, because I can't dictate what a third party will lend to us. But everything that we're doing right now is building up that foundation that's going to allow that to happen. We're already in talks with RBS and also some private lenders that are foreign. And so I can't give you a direct ETA because it's somewhat out of our control. But we are pushing for that, and obviously our goal is to get that as soon as possible.
Cool.
My name is Chen Tuan, your happiness specialist. Quick question. You may have already explained this, but I wanted to ask it anyway. What inspired you to go to West Africa, and most importantly, why the country of Ghana, if you would?
15, 16, 17 years ago, I can't remember the exact date, but 15 years ago, we had a group that came to us that wanted to borrow money from Jason in his hedge fund days and to take it into Africa. They had an individual there that was claiming that by going out to some of these smaller individual regions, they could buy gold at a discount, bring it back to Accra, and flip it and make money. What we didn't understand at the time is there's a lot of fraud that takes place in some of these underdeveloped countries in that, and especially in the gold trade business. And so ultimately what ended up happening is once we lost that money, we actually went to Ghana just to figure out what happened to try to get our money back. It wasn't until we were out there that we realized kind of the possibility, and we fell in love with the country, the people. And so it was actually kind of by fluke that we ended out there. It wasn't by intent. But we've been there ever since, and we'll be there for a long time moving forward.
Awesome.
Hey everyone, Tony from Palm Springs, California, down the street. Well, first of all, I'm here of pure trust for Travis Flaherty, as many of these people are. We love Travis. My question is, I've been in crypto 6 years, not in debt as much as many of these people with these questions, so I would love to hear a little bit more about the vision of the future of the D.E.B.T, IX Global, and everything. I know Jason mentioned a little bit earlier, but kind of hints. We would love to know what you feel in your heart. Like, what's your vision, like in the next, I don't know, 3-5 years?
You know, this is actually is very important to all of us. We all have our own visions as part of the Debt Council in different ways. And, you know, my vision basically comes from a different perspective than I think for everybody else. My career started in finance. It has been to basically try to help individuals with financial literacy and in solving a major problem of debt, hence the name of the company. Solving that problem for the United States was great. It really was the traveling around the world and being more affluent with my own internal family and starting to go into the islands, different countries, and realizing how blessed we really are here. And, you know, going out and understanding that fresh, clean water is something that we take for granted. Hot showers are something that we take for granted a lot. In food that is cooked and prepared correctly. This is the passion of basically helping out and uplifting society. The overall goal is that for us, and especially in the developing, I call them third world, but I think the better name is actually developing nations at this point in time. And getting to a point where we can come up with something that it is about the people in the room, but our goal is tens of thousands of lives being changed in one country in Ghana, or in Africa, Ghana, this year. We will spread that throughout the African continent. It's something we have a lot of passion for. It's something that we really want to do. And by doing that, we create wealth that a lot of people in this room has actually never realized. There's several people in this room that got involved with us a year ago, a little over a year ago. We've created roughly 10,000 new millionaires in the United States. I actually told Joe that that was our goal, and throughout this year, I think he's understanding that's a byproduct of what we're really trying to do. The 10,000 millionaires is awesome. You guys are all spoiled. The 10,000 new millionaires are what we needed in actually order to get the underlying projects uplifted. And so that's what gets the tens of thousands of jobs around the world created in developing nations. So that's really the mission.
I think really that's a multifaceted question because there's so much that we can go into about the vision of where we want to go, from kind of the personal aspect that Jason talked about, but also the business aspect that, you know, drives all of our, you know, efforts every day. Ultimately, what we want to do is create an impact on the world. You know, we want to make sure that when we leave a legacy. And so what we're trying to do is do something that's never been done before to leave our mark on history.
That's awesome. Thank you.
What they said. No, I grew up in in Panama, Central America. And I've spent a lot of my life throughout Central America, South America, and pretty much around the world. So when I had the opportunity to go to Ghana back in 2011 with Jake and Jason and Gordon, I was like, I'm home. In fact, I told them, I'm home. This is phenomenal. This is exactly what it was like when I grew up. Growing up in that situation, I have very much appreciated what it was like. I mean, when we got off the airplane from Panama and we went into a McDonald's and we ordered food, my brother said, dude, you can order all that with English? And so having been in a scenario, in a situation where there is significant poverty and there is a significant struggle for life and being able to make ends meet, for us, it's all about uplifting the people we're serving in those countries. We go in and we mine, we drill for oil, and I say this we because we have the ability to find it, and they come in with the drills and the mining, and we tell them where it is. But what that does is that changes the face of that community. It changes that village. And so those people then have jobs that don't have jobs. If they're growing food, they're growing food because we've been able to help get that put together and organize that where they would not normally have that ability. And so we're changing lives, and I see it. And when we first got started, I'm like, man, this is really slow. It's not happening. And as it's progressed, it's been like a snowball rolling down a hill, and it's just building and building and building and building. And then to come back to the US and see the lives it's changing on the digital side, for me is significant. I've got friends that I introduced this to. Sorry, Joe, it wasn't in IX. But it's changed their lives. I've got a guy that came to me and he's told me, he's even teared up multiple times. He's like, you have no idea what you've done for me in just introducing this to me. He said, you've completely changed my life. And for me, that's what it's all about. It's about the stewardship we have to take care of one another here on earth. That's where I'm at.
Can I answer part of that as well? Because I know those are the debt box answers. I want to also address the IX Global side of this, right? I think what people need to understand about the vision that we have, myself, Rosemary, is, just like every one of these guys up here, we've been in the trenches the last 15 years. I've been in homes where they're sweeping the dirt floor. They don't have a roof over their head. But guess what they do have? They have a smartphone. Can you believe that? That's how technology has reached today. People can start to see things on the internet, YouTube. They start to see people living a lifestyle. You see all these influencers or, these people out there, they're the same age, 18 to 25 years old, and they are traveling around the world and they're doing all these amazing things. Imagine if you were in their shoes. You're watching through this little screen, these people, your same age, having all these great experiences. That wasn't possible before because you were in your own bubble. Right? Think of it back in the 50s and 60s and 70s. There was no internet. There was no way to connect people. But now these people in these villages, in these towns that are in these developing nations can see what it is to live, whether you want to call it a Western lifestyle or the American dream or whatever you want to call it. So it's speeding up the need for people to be educated and to have a way to earn an extra income. And I think we're starting to get there with the licenses. That's affected one level, perpetual licenses. Then we went through and I've, fought my way with Jason on the rental idea, right? We were going some other way. He came up with a better way with rentals, right? But I think there's another step that we need to take, and you guys will see that step taken in 2023. This will be able to help people, like Roy was just talking about, that live on 50 cents to $1 to $2 a day. And I think sometimes us in the States, we don't realize that there's people that live on that amount of money each and every day, that are trying to put bread on a table each and every day. And I want to be able, through the Debt Box Partnership, complete a vision that I have and take a piece of technology to where people can make that little bit of extra income that they need for their family, for that bread, that day and tomorrow and the next day. But they don't have the resources to go out there and buy a perpetual license at this moment. So I know that's a long way off. There's a lot that I have to do. There's a lot of work that Jason has to do. So make sure we put a lot of pressure on him while you guys are talking to him. Tell him to support me on this. And that's my piece on that, Tony. So thank you for that question. Next.
First of all, I just want to start off and thank Joe, Jason, Jake, Roy. This whole community is amazing. And I just want to double down on what Jason said, is the last 30 minutes they were talking today, what they described in the blockchain space has never been done. I know a lot of people aren't familiar with it and don't understand how everything works, but I've gotten his comedy. He's funny, he's sarcastic. He was being serious with you guys. You have no idea what we have here. However excited you are, times it by 1,000 and you might be close to what we're gonna do here. So my question, guys, is as we get more popular, we're gonna have more haters. So this one guy posted, the fact that this project has no reported market cap anywhere is a huge red flag, probably the exact reason why there hasn't been a verified report of supply submitted. So if we go to CoinMarketCap, it doesn't report a circulating supply. It does say the total supply and the max supply is 50 million tokens of DET, which we all know. And same on CoinGecko, there's no circulating supply. Now, I kind of know this answer, but I wanted to hear from you guys just to answer the haters and shut them up for once. So take it away, guys.
Learn crypto. Deck Screener puts all of our market caps directly out. It's pretty easy to go find it. CoinMarketCap has the market cap out as well. I am not CoinMarketCap and I am not CoinGecko. We publish all reports. It's them to pick up the circulating supply. Unfortunately, I do not run those platforms or I would do it myself. We actually have submitted it 3 times and they have not updated that yet, but they did update the fact we are not 500 million, which was what they started with, and it did get back to the real number. So I wish I could tell you why they don't give the circulating supply. It's not actually on us, it's physically on them. But the market cap's actually pretty easy to find. You can actually go get most of that on Deck Screener. CoinMarketCap does it for debt, but every one of our tokens has market caps on them. If you just go to one of 100 other sites, Deck Screener is pretty easy.
Chris?
Chris Langle, Park City, Utah. Great event, guys. Just a question about like getting to the next exchanges and that road to Binance that we've heard about. I'd love to hear kind of what that looks like and what you maybe think will happen to the coins when they get there.
I get hesitant, saying an exact date because obviously there's some of that that's outside of our control. But we will be on Binance in Q1. In terms of what will happen, that's very subjective. Obviously, there's been a lot of track record that we can look at, but you've had coins that hit, these major exchanges that have a 2-3x multiplier on them. You see some of them hit the exchange that have 1,500% multiplier on them. I wouldn't expect anything like that. But I do think the more we get on these bigger exchanges, the more awareness it creates around our project, which obviously, I think the more people look at us and really dive into the details, the more exciting our projects become. And so I think just getting exposure will obviously have an effect on the token prices.
Scott Struber, Chicago, and sequestered in Washington, D.C. And Jason, listen to Joe. And Mike is right. Your sense of humor is fantastic. I'm sure I can't be the only one of us in this room that of certain projects has tens of millions of these tokens, and I'm not exiting until it's $1. I'm never going to think about it. Is there a cold wallet that will be down the road from debt for these huge amounts, this massive amount of wealth that will be there? And then also, will there be a component, something similar to a ledger or treasure or something of that nature that, forget Apple Pay, we've got Debt Pay?
Yes.
Savor that moment. It doesn't happen very often.
Dr. Wilhelmina Ford from Miami. I was invited here by Jeff Trills and Toby Price 2 days ago. When they told me about this summit, I did not hesitate. I jumped in because with the information that they had given me, it was enough for me to say yes to come here. And I'm so glad that I did because I'm interested in protecting my family as well as myself with finances. And I say thank you to Joe for having a heart, each one of you actually, for having a heart to want to help so many other people in this country as well as in other countries. But what I wanted to say is my family is completely ignorant as far as cryptocurrency, and if I leave them something, they wouldn't have a clue on how to get it. So I'm asking you, is there anything you can do as far as putting something in place for the beneficiaries where they can put a claim in easy so that they can inherit whatever I may leave?
That's actually a very interesting, scenario that we haven't necessarily come up against, and so that's probably something that we need to think about. Obviously, the difficulty is if you have your own seed words and everything's in your thing, there's not a whole lot that we could do. As far as transferring the licenses, as long as they've converted to NFTs, then that wouldn't be an issue at all, and we would help you with that.
They don't need to know anything about crypto. They need to understand it's a numbered account, and you're going to put that somewhere safe, and they have it somewhere, and you better at least let them know that this is what never to give anybody else.
No. Yeah. No.
We are building a community of trusted individuals, and whether it is myself or you are so young still, I'm sure you're going to be 50 years from now before that happens. I may not be around. There will always be someone to assist, and I think the further education that you can actually do while you're here and running through, as we're going to be producing a lot more educational, I think it's important for everybody, no matter their age, get more crypto educated.
What I've done is I've printed out on paper exactly what my family needs to do should I disappear. And then I've put that in safekeeping. So my family knows with instructions on what to do. And if any of you guys have any problems with that, Jason's phone number is 801-5...
All right, up next, Misty back there. Nico.
What's going on, everyone? I'm Nico from the Bay Area. So I have 2 questions. Could I ask 2 questions, or?
It's 500 debt per question for you, so.
All right, you're gonna have to wait for that one.
I'll bring it down to 5 debt.
Well, first question, pretty much, can you talk about BLOX a little bit more? Is it just domestic, or is it going to be international real estate?
So obviously, anytime we start a project, we start with what we know. And so what we know is here domestically. Eventually, as we grow the project out, improve the system, then we will be expanding on that internationally.
And I guess my next question is, can you guys talk about the hosting with the V-Box, security-wise? Like, how secure is it? Because I got a couple questions from several people, but I wasn't really sure how to answer them. So if you guys could talk about the security for the V-Box.
Look, the V-Box is as secure as our ecosystem can be. It actually is a process to keep X amount of individuals up and running as a convenience factor for a certain amount of licenses. And as we build out the ecosystem, those V-Boxes will be limited. And I'm going to say that right now, limited. Because what we really do need is we need individuals to start running hardware around the world and in other data centers. But we do not actually host the V-Box. That's already on third-party software and hardware as it is. It's just a way to basically pay for it in one and then have perpetual licenses run without monthly dings. It costs, you need to understand as far as the debt community, these licenses do hard cost between $2.50 on bulk to $5 on low. We have 1.7 million licenses a month operating. Part of getting this out, we told everybody we'd give them 90 days. 1 year ago today, I said you had to start mining licenses and everybody balked. And then Joe came around and said he balked. And so it's been 1 year, we have donated that revenue that could go to a lot of other places to continue building out this ecosystem. So I don't care if you mine it on your computer or a laptop or put it up at Amazon or Switch or use a VBox. But that is why VBox and hosting has happened. We've done it literally 12 months longer than we thought we were going to or promised we would.
The likelihood of somebody going after your hosting is extremely low because it's only hosting the miner. The likelihood of them going after your wallet is what's more concerning. So for those of you who don't have your 2FA in place, you need to get that in place. But as far as the hosting, that's just your miner. They can't get value there, so I don't know that they'd waste their time.
Good evening, everybody. Name's Hugo Harrison. I'm from the DMV area. My question to you guys is are you guys eventually, at some point, as the company evolves to this, company that makes huge amounts of money, looking back and trying to, create a vision in which you're helping those here at home, like our military veterans that are homeless, or those that may be out in the streets? I had a chance to walk the city, last night, and I saw a lot of people, here at home in need as well. So is there a vision, I guess, maybe in place in the future that, we evolve to a point in where we can help those, here at home as well?
Part of the difficulty of running an ecosystem like that is it's very exciting to look forward and talk about the projects that are coming, but because of what we're trying to do with IX, we don't really want to give too much away. But I actually had a sidebar conversation with a lady here today and talking about, the philanthropic side of debt and what we really want to try to, create and what we want to leave behind. There's something coming, a whole project that is dedicated to giving back. And we actually think, based on the responses that we're getting from the community, especially from IX, it may be one of the biggest projects we launch, because the sole purpose of it will literally be to share the wealth around, the local communities that we're in.
My entire life, since the age of 13, I have worked for myself. Started out pulling weeds and raking leaves. That turned into a grass cutting business and multiple other businesses. And now I have a pretty good size small company. We employ almost 100 people. Multiple times over the 26 years I have worked for myself, I've had people tell me, thank you for the opportunity, thank you for a job, thank you for allowing me to change my life. Many different times I've had people tell me thank you for building something bigger than myself. Never in my entire life have I ever been a part of anything at all that I didn't build myself. This is the first time I'm a part of something that someone else has built. So this is my opportunity to tell you guys what a great job you're doing. Thank you for being a visionary. Thank you for building something bigger than yourselves that all of us can be a part of, that I can be a part of, something that's changing my life and my family's life. I hope everybody here help me out real quick. Give these guys a round of applause.
Thank you, guys. Thank you.
Thank you so much.
Hello, I'm Marshonda from Pittsburgh. Thank you guys so much. I really, really appreciate this. I have two questions. The first one is on 2FA. How come we don't have 2FA coming in? Like when somebody logs in, they can't get into your account unless they have 2FA. Like most companies have that, where getting in, you have to verify who you are. Is that gonna come, or how do you guys think about that?
This has actually been a struggle for us on what to implement and how quickly, and getting through a very large community that is not crypto educated yet. I'm very comfortable with 2FA. I've been dealing with it for years, being in crypto. Every crypto exchange demands it. Even my high banking demands it at this point in time. But we are dealing with a community that is still learning. For instance, we instigated 2FA in our ecosystem in May of last year. We have requested in every single monthly newsletter to have everybody update their accounts for 2FA. In September, the reports came back, less than 2% of our ecosystem had it enabled. This is ridiculous in crypto because it is so easy to take and impossible to get back. So heading into it, Joe and I actually had a lot of conversations. He's indicated 2FA in his ecosystem for his stuff, and we have started the process of basically tightening everything down. The reality is you can get into your debt box, you can't do anything without 2FA done. It is coming, and it's going to get tighter and tighter and tighter. We are a major target with how many of our ecosystem is, or how much our ecosystem is growing. It's about 4,000 a week right now. 4,000 people that have never done 2FA, 4,000 people that have never done crypto, 4,000 people that need a lot of education. That is starting with BizPro and getting that education out quicker and easier for the leaders that are in this room that are doing the best that they can to help them get them tools to get through it. And it's coming.
Thank you. My next question is just about the BEV project. Could you explain that a little bit more on how that one works? Because I kind of was a little bit confusing.
Are you talking about the debt project in general, or are you talking about a
No, the BEV, B-E-V, the beverage one.
BEV. Yeah, so in BEV, what you basically have is you have a supply chain issue, and we like to solve problems. And so in that, there is no problem for the major people. If you are a major conglomerate, Fortune 500 company, you've got the best shipping rates, you've got the best storage rates, you've got the best transits, you've got the best warehouses across the country. If you are micro, similar to farming, if you are micro and you want to start a brewery, for instance, and you're a mom and pop shop that may start it with the last 100,000 or 500,000 they have in their bank account, you get the worst rates of shipping, you get the worst rates of cooling, you get the worst rates for inventory financing of everybody. You should be the one that gets the least. So think about BEV as a co-op opportunity for multiple small businesses to come together to bring the prices down. And for that, we are basically taking a nickel of that profit savings. It's roughly around 22%, and we're taking 5% for the ecosystem and saving the end consumer that's coming into the ecosystem 17%. So they're getting a lot more than we are. But the size of it is so big. Would that be worth it to a small business to get 17% more, but to also brand every single product powered by DevBox and BEV token? Think about this as the cheapest advertisement this ecosystem's ever had. This kind of shows you a little bit more about the tokenomics. It's a much bigger play than just advertising. It's a much bigger play than just solving one problem. It's solving a lot in our ecosystem and theirs.
Awesome. So, Ricardo Hamilton, Crypto Rick Mims, make it make sense. Look, we're part of the largest wealth transfer in history. And I always tell people, if you didn't come from a wealthy family, this is the opportunity to make sure that a wealthy family comes from you. So I'm fired up and excited to be such a part of such a revolutionary company and what we're doing to change the world. I wanted to ask about DLG in regards to maybe to touch on DLG, is it still 1,000 or pentagrams or tokens, and then also maybe when will we be able to get deliverable goal for DLG?
So with DLG, one of the issues that we're facing right now is that with the push for the deliverable, the SEC wants to look at that as a security. And we want to stay out of the security. In fact, we designed everything to be a commodity. Gold is a commodity, it's not a security. Though they're trying to step over that line and bring it back and say it is a security. So we're currently working with our attorneys right now to figure out the best structure of DLG so that we can convert, like we did with BGLD, to a migrated token. We're looking at doing that with DLG. In the effort to provide deliverables, it will most likely happen one of two ways. We've already spoken to a handful of suppliers, if we have to go the direction of a non-deliverable, that will then take DLG as payment for a deliverable. So we've solved that problem. or we'll be able to deliver. But we're waiting for the attorneys to get back to us to let us know which direction we can go and still keep the status of a commodity. So that's coming.
I'm just going to talk a little 2 seconds farther on that. We actually took a vote as far as the note holders. Ironically, it's the only vote in history that's ever been 100%. I actually am shocked about that. And I didn't vote at all. And so I would have voted the same way. And so adding the revenue model into DLG allows us to actually convert that token to more of a currency that can be used on third-party websites. That's where Roy's basically going. So this actually, decision's already been made. The migration should happen sometime in the next 45 days, if that's what we're trying to get to.
Hi, I'm Andy. We're from Kansas City. We have the most amazing sponsor, him and his wife, wherever you guys are. Thank you very much. We couldn't be more blessed to have been shown an opportunity as this. Being a family-oriented, this seems family-oriented. I mean, your kids are amazing. Being a family-oriented business, my thing is, what about getting licenses for your children for when they do turn, say, 18, graduate high school, something that they can get as a gift that they can grow, that's already building for them before it happens?
Absolutely. All of my daughters, I have 4 daughters, and all of my daughters have nodes. We made that decision that we were going to set that up. Now, I manage those. I have all the seed phrases. I have everything, and it's in safekeeping. And they have just recently become aware of it, but they don't even have the ability to log in, because I know my oldest daughter would be at the shopping mall, and that would be gone. And all of a sudden I'd see, I'm like, how do you get a negative balance in your minor? How's that possible? But
We linked it to your other account.
yeah, he linked it to our other account. Oh, great. So yeah, I think it's a phenomenal idea, because since we set that up, the growth that I've seen because of the ability to start early in a mining project, the growth that they've had is significant to them. I mean, when my kids graduate from high school, I've got 2 daughters out of school, and they still don't. One's married; she didn't even have her account. I'm like, nope, can't have it. You're saying you cannot spend that, but that's going to be phenomenal for them to be able to come into that because of that ability to mine so much in the beginning. When it hits those values, for them, that's going to be awesome. So I think it's a phenomenal idea. I personally, if I were to give advice, which I rarely do, but if I were to give advice, I would say, yeah, get them, but hold on to them. Don't turn them loose.
And I think, can I take a part of that? I think a part of that might be from the IX Global side. We require a person to be 18 to take out because the business side of things, right? So maybe, Paul, what we can look at is figuring out on the customer side, people in this scenario that just want to get some nodes for their kids, they want to have it in separate accounts, and we can then a minor mining exception policy, we could figure that out, okay? Thank you.
My name is Ricky. Joe, this question might be more for you, but when you guys said there was 10,000 millionaires you wanted to make, I heard everybody behind me, did he say 10,000? Is that what he said? So what I'm curious of is how many, realistically, I know you're a straight shooter, do you think will come from IX, and roughly how long?
10,000 in 24 months or less. That's a vision that we've kind of adopted from Jason, and I think it's a phenomenal vision to shoot for. I think it might be a little bit on the low side, like he told me and for my sales. Might be a little bit on the low side with everything that we're seeing. Because, right now in IX, like I said, we just started to do the addition. The way I look at network marketing is the first couple levels that you guys get in, it's adding people to your organization. What's the same thing for us? We're adding. But then at one point, it switches to multiplication. So you could be, +1, +2, +3, +4, +5, +20. But then all of a sudden, it's 20 times 3, 40 times 3, 100 times 3, 3,000 times 3, 4,000 times 3. And so what ends up happening is you start to create some phenomenal wealth. I know my wife has never looked at her account, and she broke over 7 figures in her account. So that's one debt box millionaire created right there. I'm speaking that for her, as obviously she's like, let me check this out. She doesn't even know, because she doesn't know how much debt token she has, and I think debt token's at a 200% run in the last 30 days. So with what's going on in the increases in the token prices and the announcements you guys are hearing and the validity that's coming in, I think it's going to be absolutely possible in that time frame. I don't know, Jason, if you want to.
Joe, I'm in such a doghouse right now, you don't want to talk about it. You know, getting into giving back, there is some issues with having accounts, obviously, in the children's name, so on and so forth. Manage it for them, be responsible. Creating millionaires is something that is a great vision. I have actually seen some amazing positive growth in this room. And in my friend group and in my family, it is exploding in ways that I never thought possible. I wish I could lie to you. It's probably 20 to 30, which is why I don't give my phone number anymore, a week of random text messages from individuals that I don't even have a name to them, and I wish I did, of thank yous and putting on. Some of them I actually don't even think they're part of just D.E.B.T. I actually think they're part of the IX community, and my phone number got leaked somewhere. But I do think this is a mission that growing out money and wealth is important, but educating it is more, because how you spend it and how you hold it and how you can use this as a long-term problem to deal with Social Security and the financial retirements that just are not going to exist, I think is more important to try to educate and to talk about than the actual current millionaires or anything like that, but it is happening. So.
Hi, I'm John Thomas, Jason's best friend. Not really, but. No, I've been a securities lawyer for 25 years, and I was in one of the initial meetings on Black Gold. And I went into this initial meeting, and I understand markets. That's my thing. I've taken several companies public in the United States and Europe. And so I understand what kills companies. And it's the same thing that kills cryptocurrency. And the thing that kills it is the lack of demand for the coin or the stock. Doesn't matter. It's the same thing. So what turned me on first to this company is the integrity of the founders. Freaking love these guys. So that was important because I invest in people and not companies. Secondly, I understand markets. And when I was in the room with a lot of people that were more wealthy than me, for sure. And when I heard him tell me about this burn wallet concept and how he'd figured out how to self-fund burning, I don't think you guys understand what this is. This is groundbreaking. This is what makes this community work. This is what will make this a multi-trillion-dollar enterprise. Woo! So that was the genius for me. So this is my question to these guys. All right, Jason. I want an update on the health of your burn wallet and how you're keeping that where it needs to be for us. Because we've put a lot of trust in you. And you've paid us off in spades. More than you can know, you're a blessing to my family. So I'd love to hear about the healthiness of the burn wallet, because for me, that's all that matters.
Great question. And more importantly, it's actually one that everyone in the room needs to listen to very carefully. This is the secret sauce to debt that most people don't understand. When I look at it was Travis in the room, and I think I've said it probably 100 times since, you have no idea what this is yet. It is the burn wallet and the royalties. the ability to get to a pivotal point where organic growth comes from outside of standard demand of a product via hype or via one celebrity saying this is what you need to buy and pumping a bunch of people in it. We do not want to do any of that. I get all the time people angry at me saying, well, why don't you go do this? Because I only want to announce things after they have happened. And the health of the burn wallet is something that we actually announce after it happens. Every single month on the 19th to the 20th, you can see the transaction history of those burns. And it is growing, and it's growing fast. BGLD is one that we have been getting revenues from for quite some time. I've been very patient to come out with these projects to try to give exact dollar figures. If you're smart, you can find it purely on the blockchain. We have over 200 wells that are currently right now in underwriting in some sort of acquisition of royalties. That is going to be a pivotal moment of this whole ecosystem because you're going to see 2 token projects absolutely explode. What's nice is I don't really care if you have a dinghy or a yacht. The tide is going up. And everybody can come along for the ride. And that is one of the things we are trying to be as most transparent with as possible, and that's why we publish everything, and that's why every single purchase goes over PancakeSwap so you can actually look at it. You don't have to take my word for it. Thanks, John. By the way, best friends do not leave mid-speech and go buy shoes.
Great day. Jeff Trills again. And shout out to Tracy Jackson because she was anal. And when she asked me, are you doing the IX thing? After Boomy told me like 3 months ago. I said, you doing it? She's like, yeah, I think I'm gonna do it. I said, okay, let me look at what she's looking at because she don't get into anything. So shout out to her being anal and shout out to Boomy being persistent. And shout out to you guys for keep being in the game. So, and shout out to my hair. Anyway.
Looks good.
I never see the back of my head. It's cool. All right. But here's the question.
I wish I could do that.
Right. Magic. So, the BEV project. I really want to understand how we're getting royalties off of what? The manufacturing companies? And is it manufacturing companies all around the globe? Like, is it manufacturing companies that are distressed and we're helping them out? Or like what products or manufacturing companies are we getting connected to? So when we go into the supermarket, we're like, yeah, Coca-Cola, iced tea, like I want to know what we're doing.
So, great question. What we actually chose is we actually looked at this particular problem, and where it's actually coming from is it's actually the distribution facilities. The distribution facilities actually are used for a lot of different things. I'm just going to say in this space, they're used all the time for white label. They're used for packaging of off-brand products, proprietary blends. We kind of made a joke of it actually in the video. But the reality is that is a space that because they are such a small percentage of what's going on, that's actually who's paying most of the cost. And these distribution centers are actually put up around the globe, and you can't get into them until you hit a certain amount of volumes. So what we're actually doing is we're actually going at the bottling facilities and not the manufacturer, but the filling facilities. And that is where we're able to pick up the most rewards. Currently right now, it's one. It's actually out of Mississippi. It is our test child in this. And since we've actually done that, we have 6 more coming board. It's about growth. We have 2 companies right now. I'm not going to announce their names right now because I want Joe to have something to announce next week. But you will recognize these products. And these products are already in store shelves of Phillips, Target, Sam's Club, Walmart. You guys can pick up these products except for Utah. Utah has some weird laws. 48 states wide. They are not all alcoholic products. But the main distributions are, it's beer, bev, wine coolers, and that's where we started because there's a lot of markup in those particular products. It's where we get the best royalty percentages, and it's the best way for us to actually help the ecosystem grow. Energy drinks, white label energy drinks are actually part of the product base as well, and some other package filling. But in general, we have to go to the high profit center areas first, and that's where we're going. Yeah, so every one of these distribution centers have X amount of inventory that are currently in stock. So they have to basically get through those particular cans, those wraps, those labels, and then we'll be in the next round. Great question.
All right, guys, we have one more piece to this. Paul, if you want to come on up, do your magic here. I just kind of want to say one thing kind of in closing, and I want to just continue to echo this. This is just the beginning. It's never been done before. So you guys have to make the decision tonight to say, whatever it takes. Whatever it takes every single morning to get out of bed, look at your app, do another sale, and do that over and over again. Whatever it takes to get out to the Dominican Republic, to travel with us, to see the next projects we'll be launching, and whatever it takes to get to our 4th birthday, and our 5th birthday, and our 6th birthday, and our 20th birthday. Because that's what I'm going to be saying every day for the next 20 to 30 years of my life, whatever it takes.